It made a dear picture, the two of them together atop the arched bridge. At one point Holmes took her hand. He appeared to be pleading with her. When his pleas ended, she put her hand on his cheek and laughed at something that he'd said. She then turned and began to walk slowly away. Holmes followed and caught up to her as she was leaving the bridge. I saw them strolling for some time before I lost them among the gardens. I amused myself by watching the antics of the ducks nearby. It was nearly an hour before I saw the couple crossing the bridge again. They waved as they strolled to meet me. Upon approaching me, Miss Adler opened her arms to welcome and embrace. We held locked arms, and she proffered a small kiss on my cheek. "John, what are we going to do with you? I want to thank you for your efforts to protect me at the temple. It was a brave thing to do." "As was your intention," I replied, "although I believe it was not a wise thing to do for either of us." She looked askance at me and smiled. "Now, I've been through all that with Sherlock. I am duly admonished and warned, but not discouraged. Sherlock will tell you about our plans, but I must be getting back to my daughter, who becomes anxious when I am away too long. Good day, John." She turned to Holmes and offered him her hand. His brow tightened. "Your daughter and I share the same anxiety. Do not deride us. It is only that we worry about you." She did not reply, but once again put her hand on his cheek in a small caress. As the lady departed, Holmes remained in place, with some novel thoughts undoubtedly sweeping through his dusty mind. We partook of a small meal at a restaurant near the park. I asked Holmes about what had passed between him and Irene, and at first he avoided answering me. Later, as we left the restaurant, he commented that some pieces were beginning to fall into place. "Malastia invited the neophyte member of the Golden Dawn to a late supper. Miss Adler felt she could not refuse, as she saw it as an opportunity to learn more about the man. She reported that the dinner was mostly pleasant, except on 2 occasions. During the meal, Malastia had several bouts of coughing. You will recall, Watson, that he exhibited the same malady when he visited us. The other unpleasant occasion was when Malastia began pontification about the prospects for war. He expressed grave concerns about the use of horrible weapons. This may give us a clue pertaining to his work in the War Department." "But exactly where does such a remark take us, Holmes?" "It takes us to Blinker." "Blinker?" "William Reginald Hall, Watson, the assistant to the Comptroller of the Royal Navy, otherwise known as Blinker." "So it's off to the Admiralty building?" "Yes." On our way there, Holmes reminded me that, in the process of solving a case involving a vital Navy treaty, he had made the acquaintance of a Commander William Hall, who had assisted in our investigations. Filed away in some dark recess of Holmes's mind was the knowledge that, although Blinker might not be Mr. Malastia, he would, from his elevated position, definitely know about him. "Watson, I should appreciate it if you would stay close to Miss Adler and see that she arrived home safely. I believe that Blinker would prefer to see me alone, given the nature of my inquiry." And so we parted, to embark on separate missions until we should be reunited later that evening. I had a grand bachelor's supper awaiting Holmes: asparagus soup, stotty cake, and a rich blue-veined Stilton that I had come to enjoy. Holmes was in good spirits when he returned, and, in the course of the meal, I was pleased to learn that Blinker had been helpful. "I neglected to ask about Commander Hall's epithet," I inquired. "Not an imaginative appellation, Watson. William Reginald Hall has a terrible tic which causes one of his eyes to flash like a signal lamp. It is surprising how, after a few minutes with him, you find yourself accustomed to it." "What did you learn between twitches?" "More than I had dared hope. Blinker not only knew Mr. Malastia, but also the nature of his work." "Which is?" "Gas, Watson. Poison gas."